I need to stop everything you're doing right now, because what I am about to share with you is not just any message. It is a transmission that crossed dimensions, that traveled through the light currents of the Pleiades to arrive exactly at this moment, at this instant when you chose to click on this video. And that choice was not by accident. It was never by accident. Because souls like yours do not find messages like this by coincidence. They are guided, magnetically drawn to the exact point where the revelation needs to happen. And that point is now. It is here. It is this video. It is this voice reaching you with an urgency that comes directly from the Council of the Seven Sisters, who sent me with a single mission: to find the souls that are ready to receive what March came to bring. My name is Thalia, and I am an emissary of the Pleiades, a messenger of light designated for this earthly plane at a specific moment in the history of humanity. And that moment is now. It is this cycle that opens before you, with a magnitude that very few souls can comprehend before living it. But you will understand, because if you are here, if your eyes are on this screen and your heart is beating a little stronger than usual as you listen to me, then you already know, somewhere very deep within yourself, that March arrived carrying something you have waited for far longer than this lifetime can measure. I ask you to stay until the end of this video, because the message that your friends of light have prepared for you is long, it is dense, it is full of layers, and each part of it was placed in a sequence that serves your journey in a very specific way. So please do not leave before the end, because the most important part may be exactly in the section you almost did not get to watch. There is something I need you to understand about yourself before anything else. Something that perhaps has never been said to you in such a direct and loving way as I am about to say. You are not merely a human being living a human life. You are an ancient soul, a consciousness that existed on other planes, in other stars, in other dimensions of reality before choosing, consciously, to incarnate on this planet called Earth, or as we of the Pleiades call it with all the reverence it deserves, Gaia. And that choice to incarnate here, at this specific moment in earthly history, was not random. It was not a cosmic accident. It was a deliberate mission, planned with mathematical precision by an intelligence that transcends everything the human mind can conceive. The starseeds of Gaia are souls that carry within themselves a cellular memory of worlds beyond this one, a longing that does not fit any earthly explanation, a feeling of belonging to something greater than what the physical eyes can see. And if you recognize yourself in that description, if throughout your life you felt there was something different about you, a way of feeling the world that seemed more intense than that of the people around you, a capacity to perceive energies, patterns, and truths that others simply could not see, then you were not wrong to feel that. You were lucid. You were awake to your own nature, and March arrived to honor exactly that nature that you carry. What makes March so singular, so extraordinarily different from every other month you have ever lived, is a convergence of frequencies that the Council of the Seven Sisters has been preparing for cycles and cycles, an opening of an energetic portal that happens only once in an entire generation of incarnated souls. And the starseeds of Gaia were positioned on this planet precisely to be present at this moment, to receive this influx of cosmic light and transform it into tangible reality, into concrete changes, into manifestations that the world around them will be able to see and feel through the presence of these special souls. And you are one of those souls. You are one of them. And March was built around your existence here. Before we continue, I want to pause for a moment and speak directly to you, because if this video is being useful to you, if the words you are hearing are touching something real within your heart, I ask you to take this moment to subscribe to this channel, leave your like, and write in the comments, "I am ready." Because that comment is more than a gesture. It is an energetic declaration, an affirmation to the universe that you are open to receive everything that March has reserved for you. And, my friends of light, and I read each one of those comments with love and infinite gratitude. And speaking of deepening that connection, I want to share with you something very special that was created for souls exactly like yours. The ebook, Pleiadian Code. Awaken Your Star Mission on Earth is a rare treasure of stellar wisdom capable of completely transforming your spiritual journey, because it is not just a book, it is a map, a key, an activation code that will help you reconnect with your deepest mission on this planet. And this edition is available for a limited time only. So do not let time pass without accessing this tool created with all the love and all the wisdom of the Pleiades to guide exactly souls like yours. The link is in the first comment below. There is a very precise reason why I am here today, telling you that March will be the best month of your life. And that reason is not an empty promise. It is not a feel-good phrase built to make you feel better for a few minutes before returning to the same reality as always. It is an energetic truth that can be felt by any soul that is sufficiently awakened to perceive the signs the universe has begun sending with an ever-increasing frequency. And those signs are reaching you in very specific ways. Ways that I recognize. Ways that the Council taught me to identify in souls that are about to cross the threshold of a transformation that will redefine everything they know about themselves and about their capacity to create an extraordinary life. The first sign is that very particular exhaustion you have been feeling for some time, an exhaustion that is not resolved by sleep, that does not disappear after a weekend of rest, that remains there like an invisible layer on your shoulders even on days when there is objectively no reason to be so drained. And I need you to understand that this exhaustion is not a problem. It is not a diagnosis. It is not a weakness. It is the most powerful and most precise sign that your soul is closing a cycle that was long, that was heavy, that demanded of you far more than anyone around you can comprehend. Because souls with the mission you carry do not go through small cycles. They go through cycles that shape not only their own lives, but the energy of the field around everyone they surround themselves with. This exhaustion you feel is the energetic signature of the ending. It is your entire system, physical, emotional, spiritual, saying that it has reached the limit of what it was necessary to carry, that the lesson was learned, that the mission of this cycle was fulfilled, and that it is time to let go, to deposit that weight on the sacred ground of Gaia, and allow her to transform it into soil for what will come next. And what will come next is exactly what March brought. No more effort, no more resistance, no more swimming against the current, but rather the experience of being carried by the current toward everything that your soul always knew was possible, and that now, finally, is being delivered to you as the reward you earned in every difficult moment you chose to continue. March marks the end of this period of heaviness, and each morning of this month will bring a growing lightness, a sensation that something that was tight is gradually loosening, that something that was blocked is moving again, and that lightness is real. It is measurable in your everyday energy, and it is the herald of everything that this extraordinary month came to bring to your life in a way that will surpass even your most optimistic expectations. The second sign is a clarity that began to emerge within you in a way you may not yet have been able to fully name, but that you recognize in the silence of your most intimate moments. A clarity about who you really are beneath everything the world taught you to be, about what you really want beneath everything you were conditioned to want, about how you want to feel your life beneath all the expectations others deposited on your shoulders over years and years of existence on this dense and challenging plane. And that clarity did not arrive as the result of an intellectual effort. It did not come from rational analysis. It simply emerged, like something that was always there and that finally found space to appear. That clarity is the second sign that March will be the best month of your life, because it is the prerequisite for manifestation. It is the internal state that needs to exist for the universe to deliver with precision what you desire. And the reason so many people spend years asking the universe without receiving is exactly the absence of this clarity. When the mind is confused, when the heart is divided, when the soul is uncertain about what it truly wants, the quantum field around that person also becomes confused, divided, uncertain. and it manifests circumstances that reflect exactly that confusion. But when clarity arrives, when you know with a certainty that lives in your bones what you want and who you are, the field changes, and the circumstances begin to reorganize in a way that many people call a miracle. But that is in fact simply the law of energetic coherence, working exactly as it was designed to work. In March, that clarity you are feeling will deepen even further, will gain even sharper outlines, will translate itself into decisions that will seem obvious and inevitable, into conversations that will finally be had, into paths that will finally be chosen, into versions of yourself that will finally be inhabited with courage and with joy. And each of those decisions, each of those steps, will confirm what I am telling you now, that you are in the right month, at the right moment, ready for the life that was always yours by right. The third sign is something that awakened souls recognize immediately, but that many times dismiss as coincidence before understanding what it truly means. And that sign is synchronicities. Those moments when you think of something and then see it. When a song plays and it contains exactly the answer you were seeking. When a person appears in your life with exactly the information you needed. When numbers repeat. When situations align in a way that defies any rational explanation. When the entire universe seems to be conspiring in a visible and undeniable way to show you that you are on the right path. That your prayers were heard. That the change you so long awaited is literally on its way. Synchronicities are the preferred language of the universe to communicate with the starseeds of Gaia, because these souls have a heightened sensitivity that allows them to perceive patterns that most people simply do not notice. And when these synchronicities begin to multiply, when they appear with a frequency and precision that cannot be ignored, it means that the energetic field around that soul is reorganizing at high speed. That the pieces of a puzzle that has been incomplete for a very long time are finally falling into place. That what was asked for, what was dreamed of, what was cultivated in silence and in faith, is about to materialize in a concrete and tangible way in that person's physical reality. If you have been noticing more synchronicities than usual, if the signs have been arriving in ways that are increasingly impossible to ignore, then I tell you with all the certainty that comes from the Council of the Seven Sisters, you are not imagining it. You are not projecting. The universe is in fact communicating with you in an intensified way, because March is the month when the delivery happens, when what was planted in previous cycles with tears and with faith finally blooms into flowers. That will color every area of your life with a beauty that will surpass everything you had imagined to be possible. The fourth and most powerful sign that March will be the best month of your life is something that happens in the deepest layers of your being before it appears on the surface of your reality. Something you may be feeling as a restlessness that is not anguish, as an anticipation that has no defined name, as a sensation that something enormous is about to happen, even though externally everything still seems the same. And that is the sign of the inner rebirth. The moment when the chrysalis begins. To break not from the outside, but from the inside, when the butterfly is already formed and ready and about to emerge, but the cocoon has not yet fully yielded. This inner rebirth manifests in very specific ways in the lives of the starseeds of Gaia. You begin to see yourself in a different way, as if a filter that distorted your self-image for years had been removed, and for the first time you were seeing yourself with the eyes of your soul instead of the eyes of fear. And this new way of seeing yourself changes everything. Because when you change the way you see yourself, you inevitably change the way you position yourself in the world. The choices you make, the relationships you accept, the limits you establish, the life you allow for yourself. And that chain of changes that begins on the most subtle plane of self-perception will manifest in March in external ways so concrete and so surprising that you will want to return to this video to remember that you were warned. The inner rebirth you are experiencing is irreversible, and that irreversibility is what makes it so significant. You cannot return to being the version of yourself that existed before this clarity, before this perception, before this awakening that is happening now. And March is the month in which that irreversibility is celebrated in your external reality, in which the world around you begins to reflect the transformation that happened within, in which the people around you notice something different in you even without being able to name what. Because what changed is so fundamental, so structural, so essential, that it radiates from you like a light that needs no words to be felt. When the Council of the Seven Sisters sent me with this message, the first thing that was transmitted to me was an image of you, not as you see yourself in the mirror every day, not as others see you on streets and at workplaces and in homes, but as you are seen from the Pleiadian plane, a flame of consciousness burning with an intensity that makes beings of light stop what they are doing to watch. A soul that chose to incarnate at one of the most challenging moments in the history of Gaia, and that despite all difficulties, despite all the times the world seemed too heavy, never extinguished its light, never gave up on its mission, never stopped searching for something more, something greater, something true. And March arrived as a cosmic recognition for everything you chose to be, even when it was not easy. Even when there was no one to witness the effort, even when faith was the only thing that remained. The frequencies of March carry 7 specific currents of light that were calibrated by the Council, especially for the starseeds of Gaia, who are at this point of transition I described through the 4 previous signs, and the first of these currents is related to your relationships, because March will bring into your life a quality of connection you may never have experienced before in this incarnation. Connections that are soul recognition, encounters that feel like continuations of stories that began in other lives and other dimensions, and for those who are in relationships that no longer reflect the expanded version of themselves that is emerging, March will bring the courage and the clarity to honor both themselves and the other in a way that serves the growth of both souls involved. The second current of March is related to material abundance. And I need you to understand this in a way that goes beyond what is normally taught about manifestation. Because the abundance that March brings to the starseeds of Gaia is not merely the result of a correctly applied technique. It is the natural consequence of an alignment between the soul's mission and everyday actions. And when that alignment happens, when what you do in the world genuinely reflects who you are and why you are, here, the universe responds with a generosity that seems disproportionate to human eyes, because human eyes measure only physical effort, while the universe measures energetic alignment. And your alignment in March is at a level that very few souls manage to reach throughout an entire incarnation. The third current brings with it a deep healing for wounds you have carried for a long time, wounds that perhaps you believed would be your permanent companions in this life, emotional patterns that seemed immutable, pains that seemed to have roots so deep that no force could pull them out completely. And March arrived with the specific healing frequency that those wounds need, not to erase them as if they had never existed, because they did exist, and they shaped you in ways that are part of your beauty and your strength, but to integrate them, to transform them from open wounds into scars that tell the story of someone who survived, who grew, who became something extraordinary exactly because of and not despite everything they went through. There is something that needs to be said with great clarity and great love before I conclude this transmission, and it is that receiving what March has for you is not a matter of passivity. It is not sitting and waiting for blessings to fall from the sky without you having to do anything, because the universe does not work that way, and souls who deeply understand the law of co-creation know that what is received is always proportional to what is offered. Not in terms of physical effort, not in terms of how many hours per day you work or how much you sacrifice, but in terms of presence, intention, openness, and willingness to move in the direction of the life you are asking to manifest. The first thing I invite you to do to receive what March has prepared for you is to wake up every day of this month with a conscious intention, a moment before you put your feet on the floor in which you recognize that this day is sacred, that this month is sacred, that your existence on this planet at this moment is sacred, and that everything that happens over the next hours is contributing in some way, visible or invisible, to the materialization of the life your soul came here to live. Because when you wake up with that intention, you tune your frequency to the frequency of what is coming. And the difference between tuning in and not tuning in is the difference between recognizing opportunities when they appear and letting them pass without noticing them. The second thing I invite you to do is to honor your boundaries with a loving firmness that may be new to you, because many starseeds of Gaia have a tendency to expand so greatly toward others, to offer themselves so completely to the service and care of the people around them, that they end up emptying themselves in a way that prevents them from receiving what the universe is trying to deliver to them. And March is the month in which that pattern breaks, in which you learn or deepen the learning that your light does not diminish when you protect it. It grows. It intensifies. It becomes capable of illuminating far more people exactly because you took care to nourish it instead of letting it consume itself in unreflective service to others. The third thing, and perhaps the most important of all, is that I ask you to believe. To allow belief to enter beneath all the layers of skepticism and past disappointments and unfulfilled promises that life may have deposited over your heart over the years. To allow a part of you, perhaps small at first, perhaps shy and uncertain, but real and present, to believe that this time is different, that this month is different, that you deserve what is coming, that you are ready to receive it, and that the universe, the Pleiades, the Council of the Seven Sisters, and all your guides and friends of light are working in perfect concert so that March will be exactly what I said it would be from the very first second of this video, the best month of your life. I would like to close this transmission with something that comes directly from my heart to yours, a message that is not from the Council, that is not from any cosmic or dimensional intelligence, but simply from one soul to another, from one star traveler to another traveler who chose, as I did, to be here on this planet at this moment of so much change and so much possibility. And that message is, you were enough in every moment you doubted yourself. You were strong in every moment you felt. You were faltering. You were light in every moment. The world around you seemed too dark for a single soul to make a difference. And March arrived, not to give you something you do not have, but to show you something you have always had, and that perhaps you have not yet been able to see completely, that you are exactly the kind of soul the universe needed here, at this time, in this place, in this extraordinary incarnation that is your life. May March be the mirror in which you finally recognize yourself with love, with pride, and with the certainty that the journey you have traveled to get here was worth every step, every tear, every moment of doubt, and every moment of faith, because all of it brought you here, to this message, to this portal that now opens before you with all the generosity and all the magnificence you deserve to receive. And your friends of light, from the heights of the Pleiades, celebrate alongside you with a eye. Joy that makes the stars shine a little brighter tonight in honor of the courageous and beautiful soul that you are. With stellar love, I am Thalia, emissary of the Pleiades, and I see you, completely, deeply, eternally, in all your light. If this message touched your heart, subscribe to the channel. Leave your like and comment "I am ready" in the comments below. And do not forget to access the link in the first comment to discover the ebook Pleiadian Code, Awaken Your Star Mission on Earth, because your awakening journey deserves every tool that exists to support it.